Welcome everyone. Cristina Monti is already ready to present. My name is David Osimo from Open Evidence. We are in the consortium which works for the European Commission to implement the Global Internet Policy Observatory. This webinar is the first in a series of webinars aiming at involving the community in discussing and helping to build the GIPO Observatory. The webinar of today is organized as follows. We will have the presentation from Cristina Monti of the European Commission that you already see on screen on the overall goal of GIPO. We will then have Luis Mejuero from CTIC, who will present the actual technologies and the technological plan to implement GIPO. And then we have an intervention by Stefan Verhoes, who is implementing the Net Mundial solution, which is pursuing goals similar to GIPO. And at the end, we will have an open discussion, and everyone is free to raise your hand and ask for the floor. Now, just let me give you some technicalities. This platform allows any participant to submit questions. You all have a question button that you can use. I see that someone has already used it. You can use this question to answer questions to the speakers or to signal any problem. I will be forwarding the questions to the speaker immediately after their presentation. So we will have a question and answer session after each presentation. We also monitor Twitter in case you want to use the hashtag GIPONet. After presentation and the rounds of question and answers, we will have a full open mic session where anyone can make structural statement about what you have heard so far. So feel free to use the question also to submit problems and doubts that you have. You can use the question button during the presentation. There is no problem. You can post the question anytime. So without further ado, let me give the floor to Cristina Monti from the European Commission, who is the first presenter. Cristina, the floor is yours.
Hello. Good afternoon, everyone.
Yes,
can
we
you
hear
me?
you well.
Okay. Well, thank you, David, for the introduction. And thank you, everybody, for participating in this first introductory webinar. I think I have around 10 minutes to give you an overview of the main idea of GIPO, what GIPO is, and the purpose behind this initiative. So, okay. The whole purpose of GIPO is the idea to provide technical tools which can make information widely and easily accessible to support internet policy and governance. So GIPO aims to allow a more inclusive participation of all stakeholders, including those with limited resources. The idea is not really new, because in internet governance discussion we had already some recommendations on the need to have this kind of tools. For instance, the working group on improvement to the Internet Governance Forum recommended the establishment of such an observatory as something positive and welcome. And also, more recently, for instance, during the Net Mundial meeting, which many of you, I guess, know very well, it has been a very important meeting representing an important milestone in the internet governance evolution. And in the outcome statement of that meeting, it was recognized the need to have tools to perform ongoing monitoring, analysis, and information sharing functions. But why is is such a tool needed? I mean, as the internet becomes more and more important for our lives and our economies, the number of policy areas impacted continues to expand and to touch an ever-increasing number of domains and topics. And on top of this policy complexity, we also have the institutional complexity of internet governance, because the way the internet functions is quite multi-layered and complex due to its distributed and multi-stakeholder nature. And so this complexity can be an objective obstacle for many actors and for many stakeholders in effectively participating in discussions and also in processes where decisions are made. Just to give you a very concrete example, now there is an issue which is quite topical in internet governance discussions, which is the IANA stewardship transition and the discussion around the accountability of ICANN. And here I'm showing you an interesting infographics that highlights that just for this topic, and in approximately 1 year, there have been 365 working hours dedicated to discussing these issues, with more than 17,000 emails and 200 calls and meetings with events around all over the world. So you can understand quite easily that not all stakeholders have the resources and the capacity to analyze and to follow all this, all the information that might be very, very relevant and interesting for them. So this is what is behind the idea of GIPO, the idea to increase expertise and understanding among all actors, in particular those who feel marginalized in internet debates and decisions. But I think that many of you will share the concept that also for those who have the resources, the amount of information sometimes is really overwhelming. And one way to address this challenge is really to use the opportunities that the ICT technologies can offer us. So through capacity building, we aim at build confidence, and this will lead to more informed discussions, and in the end, this will help us also get closer in our position. So the overall idea of GIPO is really that to provide an online platform to automatically collect, analyze, and visualize real-time information on internet policy developments and decisions across the world. So this platform will help to identify links between different fora and discussions, and also to identify policy trends and provide easy-to-use information by incorporating modern visualization techniques. And I guess we will know more about these tools in the presentation by Luis after me. But in short, the concept of GIPO, as you can see here in this slide, is really the idea to apply advanced technologies, like for instance data mining, semantic analysis, and data visualization to data which is already available, and in this way we aim at overcoming the problem of information overload and fragmentation that I referred to just before. We in the Commission, we identified some core principles which should be at the basis of such a tool, like for instance the idea of using open source software. The tool should be modular, so to allow also different technologies to be added on later on, and also, you know, to focus on some specific core functions, but to provide always the possibility for third parties to develop further functionalities. And again, Luis, I think will go in much more detail on these aspects. Just a final word on the role of the Commission. the Commission thinks that, I mean, this is a very important project, and that's why we asked for a feasibility study last year, just to analyze the available technologies which could be of help to develop such a tool, and also to start launching the discussion with interested partners. And then we decided to provide some initial funding to launch the project, and that's how we selected, through an open tender procedure, we selected a consortium which is now helping us to develop the technical platform. And then I would also like to highlight that the Commission continuously seeks to involve other partners and stakeholders, as we believe that this should not be a Commission-only initiative. We aim here to provide a tool for the global community, and that is why we reach out to other partners. And in particular, through this series of webinars and other activities, we aim at building also a GIPO community which could provide input and ideas and expertise to develop the tool. In particular, we are also interested in having possible user case scenarios, so I would be very much interested in ideas also from the participants on how such a tool could facilitate your lives. And also I call on you to spread information across your respective constituencies and communities. And I guess that's all from me at the moment. Thank you very much, and looking forward to an interesting discussion with all of you.
Thank you very much, Christina, also for respecting very well the time. So Christina has presented the strategic goals of GIPO, and we now give the floor to Luis Mejuero from CTIC, who is, together with Open Evidence and P.A.U, who is leading the consortium, working on the actual technological solution to make it happen. So Luis will tell us a bit more about the work they've been doing, and will share with you their ideas and the progress. Luis, the floor is yours.
Thank you, David. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining today and participating with us. I'm going to explain you in more detail what are the technological components and in general the technological architecture of the GIPO tool. Well, the main challenge of this platform is to serve as the global platform for the internet policy monitoring, and this goal implies a number of difficult challenges. These are only one of the various challenges, like the heterogeneous information sources. You have sources from different countries, from different technological kind of sources, such as web pages or web services, and also documents, and so on. We have also many sources. It's a global project, so our aim is to cover all the world. So we will have to face a problem of scalability, and also we have a problem of multilingualism, because we want not only to cover English language or the most spoken languages in the world, because we want to be inclusive, and we want to be every country and every individual to be represented. So we have to face this question. And also we want to offer a tool for everyone, open to all, open using the open access and open data technologies. So to tackle these challenges, we will have to use some main groups of technologies, like the ones you can see. One is automatic data collection and analysis, also using semantic technologies to try to classify and to automatically understand by a machine what the content is about. We will apply web standards, trying to ensure that the information is visualized, is spread in every computer, independently of the device and the screen size and so on. And we will also rely on the open data technologies and philosophy, because we will use these standards also in the sharing of the content using open services that can get the content provided by the GIPO platform and also use it for another new development or as an input source for much analysis and detail. As Christina said, all these technologies that we are going to use, we plan to use, are open source. So it's a proposal, an initial proposal that we've just started to work. Is this? You can see the main architecture proposal in this graphic. You can see there are modules. Modules is more a conceptual part of this architecture, and there are also components. Components are more specifically the technologies that we are going to apply inside each of these modules. You can see also different colors. We've tried to represent different things. One is that you can see some modules and also components that we try to show in green color that we think that are open to community debate. As you know, we want every individual to have a voice, and we want to hear proposals, especially technical proposals, because there are many different approaches to solve the same problem. So we are not going to develop the platform with only from our own idea. We want collaboration, and this webinar and the future workshops are aimed to do this. And you can also see in another different color, the magenta color, that we use it to represent what specific parts will be custom developed from the ground up. So we will not rely maybe in a packet of technology that we only just have to configure. No, in this case, we will begin with the full development. Okay. So, sorry. I will explain every component, every module. We have the front end. The front end is the main module. This is the module that a user approaches when he goes to the. We will go to the link, to the GIPO link, and defines the web interface that we will implement using Drupal 7 on an Apache HTTP server. And then users will be interacting with it, and among other functionalities, this front end we have a front office with including a dashboard for any user, unregistered user. You don't need to register to the platform to use these functionalities, and we will provide searching, view, and commenting functionalities to every item of information compiled and presented by the tool. From here, the user will have access to data visualizations, different kind of data visualizations like tree maps, timelines, or maps. And also a user will have the opportunity to comment about the sources and the filtering of those sources, the filtering algorithms. This is an important part for us, that the users can see in a transparent way how the the tool is gathering all those massive information and why chooses this information based on what and what decision is automatically made. And the most important part is that any user can have their voice and propose new sources or even suggest corrections to the filterings. And the user will have also the possibility to configure and make a custom dashboard combining visual part and also list of items with which comes from search functionalities. Also, there will be a back office services, back office part that will be only available to register users, mainly a team of people dealing with the construction of those filtering algorithms, with the adding of new sources. And also a very important part is that these kind of special users will have the maintenance of categorization and ontology for data linking and extraction. Going ahead, the other important module is the visualizer. As I said, in the front end, the user will have at his hands different kind of graphics. Those graphics are powered by this module. This module offers this kind of visualizations. What this module makes is retrieving the information, the data directly from another module, that is the analyzer module, and will render the diagrams using libraries like this one. That's the first library we've chosen to render the information. This. We also have a module that we call the balancer. As I said before, there's a scalability problem. As you can imagine, if we begin to add sources and sources of information, that can be a very big list. So maybe it's not possible only with one server to get all this information and work with it. So in this case, we need to add new machines, new servers that can cater with all those processes. This module, what makes is try to dispatch these different processes that the front end launches because of the user action, and dispatch it as a task to be consumed by any machine available, any that can handle it. So we have a task producer using a useful Java message service, and we will rely on an open source solution that is called Apache Kafka as a message server that will dispatch this task to the next module. The next module that receives this task is the fetcher. The fetcher is the module that really gets the information, the data, the documents from the sources of information. And we will have 3 submodules, we can call it, that can get this information from 3 different primary types of content sources. One is the crawler collector. The crawler collector is intended to extract information directly from websites. Websites are usually for humans, not for machines. So we will use scrapping techniques. That's the word that usually is said. It's something that, for instance, the data journalists are used to get this information from web pages that does not offer web services or APIs that would imply that a machine could consume the data. So we have to use these techniques and a crawler connector to get the information. We have also the more useful for a machine way to collect data, that is the RSS atom sources. That's we can also talk about the syndicator and is something that still many web pages use, but not all. So that's why we need also the crawler. And finally, we have an external APIs collector, because there's a lot of services, like, for instance, provided by social media platforms, like, you know, every name. We plan to collect from the Twitter API and also from Google+. This is a part, as you can see, that in the diagram is in green, meaning that we expect the community to propose other APIs that they can see interesting, and we can add it to the general module that is the fetcher. Then this information collected from the different sources will go to the analyzer and search module. This module is intended to store the documents and also the metadata. The metadata get from these web pages, from these APIs, and from these documents and information sources in general. And also we index this information in order to provide search services. Well, this metadata obtained by the tool will be automatically discovered. I mean, we will use semantic technologies, and this that you see, the named entity recognition components that will get the textual content and any other metadata that is present in the original source, and applying these semantic technologies extract the different entities. One entity can be people, another entity can be places, territories, another entity can be general areas of information. That is what we want to get, and in order to tag and classify this information, so it could be easily consumed and searched by the audience. We propose to use these services. These are well known. One is OpenCalais, another is Alchemy, but there are also many other possible services that can help us, especially trying to deal with the multilingualism, because many of these semantic extractors usually deals well with the English languages and other languages, but there are differences in these services. Also, from these sources we will get documents, not only web pages, documents like spreadsheets and text documents. I mean, we can have a report or a conference or a press release. We have to also want to make this tool to be able to read these documents and extract also the information. So we will rely for this task with another open source component, that is the P.A.U TICA. And finally, other module, as we talked, we want to provide open access to the information. We do not want only the audience and our users to have to go every time with the front office and make searches inside the tool. We want the community, the developer community especially, to provide them with a programmatically way to retrieve the contents from the platform and use it for its own purposes, to connect maybe with another observatories, or to integrate it with another tools that can make new things in a different way that we will have no idea at this time, and can be a very good idea. So we will provide an API from GIPO, and also we will provide not only the contents but also the sources. We will provide an OPML file that anyone can retrieve the list of sources. Maybe another observatory can integrate the list of sources we've compiled, and also a standard XML RSS output feed. And as another way, we will try to use different ways to share automatically the information that is inside the tool. Well, finally, I want to tell you what will be the different stages of the development. It's a phase development. We'll have 4 iterations every 6 months. We are currently involved in the first one of these iterations, because this June we will share a closed beta. Sorry, but it's still a closed beta because being the first, we want to test it internally, especially with the commission, and also a group of selected technical experts that can help us in this testing, in this test. And the final iteration, the 4th iteration, is expected in December 2016. So then the tool will be complete from our side, but still open to the community. Finally, we will include, during this iteration, we will try to include the sound proposals from the community, but also the community will be able to develop their own components because of the modular and open nature of the development. Giving more detail, in December this year, we will have the most part of the components and also the modules. The front end, for instance, will have the different functionalities I've talked about, displaying, searching items. The visualizer will offer only one kind of visualization this time. And the external APIs collector will get content from one social network that we will try to make Twitter the first of these social media platforms, and also the semantic technologies, the semantic services that tags the information. We will use first the OpenCalais service. This time we will not be able to offer a programmatical way to get the contents gathered from GIPO, but then in June next year we will have that API option available, and also from the front end we will have a full custom dashboard with all the rest of the different kinds of visualizations that the visualizer module offers, that the timeline, the map. Also, we will have a new social media providing content to the tool, that is Google+, and also another semantic service like is Alchemy will provide more powerful tagging and to the semantic enrichment of the information. And finally, in the end, December next year, we will have a final option from the front end that is some sort of source search assistant, because as the tool will have many sources and also the users will propose sources, we will have to deal with this, and also we can make the tool, we will try to make the tool more intelligent, trying to discover by its own new sources of information. So we will try to do some sort of assistant to help users in this particular aspect. And also the rest of modules, as you can see, will try to include these community recommendations and good proposals that we will try to gather from all of you and to collect in these future workshops. And I think it's all from my side. I hope you will have some questions.
Thank you very much, Luis. We had plenty of questions, but mainly they were about the slide, the availability of slide and recording. And yes, we will make available the slide and also the recording online. So we didn't have any technical question, although we had one hand raised. from Cornelius Bushman. Before we move into that, because I would prefer to leave the full set of intervention at the end. Is there any other question? If so, please add your question in the specific window. Okay, there are a few questions. Let me check. There is a question from Daniel Dardaye about the relation between NMI and GIPO. I suppose Net Mundial. I think we will talk about this after the intervention of Stefan Verhust and Samantha, so we can take this afterwards. So I don't see any additional question for the moment. Let me just mute Luis. I see some chat. Okay, no question from. No additional questions, so feel free. I'm also checking on Twitter in the meantime. Let me see. Okay, nothing coming out in terms of questions. So I think we can quickly move to Stefan and Samantha from New York. This is a truly global webinar. We have people from Spain, Brussels, and New York talking. And so, Stefan and Samantha, the floor is yours. I understand I make Samantha the presenter, and I also unmute her. And Stefan, I think you
Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to present the Net Mundial Solutions Map. And good morning from New York. What I would hope to do during this presentation is to give you an update on the Net Mundial Solutions Map, and also to highlight the areas where GIPO and the Net Mundial Solutions Map is eager to collaborate. The Net Mundial Solutions Map is a product from the GovLab, and the GovLab in close collaboration with ICANN and Second Rise. And the GovLab is a action research organization based in New York. And the focus of GovLab is to improve people's lives by changing how we govern. And we apply that also to the internet, in which we hope to improve people's lives by changing how we govern the internet. And one of the areas that we hope to contribute is to make and seek ways to allow for better collaboration around specific internet governance issues. And in order to do so, we started to do some due diligence and analysis of what's the current status of collaboration. And we quickly identified that the big challenge before we start addressing collaboration is really a challenge of information and information sharing. And so when we look and did our research with regard to what's the current status of information sharing and availability of information with regard to the internet, we realized and identified that information on internet governance issues are largely fragmented. There is information available, but it's quite often not connected, so it's disconnected. And as a result, collaboration and coordination is hard, because it is very hard at the moment to even know what responses already exist to what issues that one is interested in solving. It is also very hard to know who is already working on what, and so it's very hard to then also identify who you should collaborate with. And it is even harder, if you already know what is happening and who to collaborate with, how to act upon the information, what to do with the information once one has identified the responses that already exist. So co-creation and information sharing, which one would hope would be established in order to support collaboration, is also hard, because it is almost impossible to even start sharing information in a systemic way, because there is no shared platform for doing so. And then the last element that we identified was that it is also very hard from a strategic point of view to decide where to allocate resources, policy resources, because it is very hard to evaluate which issues are underserved and ignored. And so towards that end, we started looking at how can we address the information deficit and the information sharing deficits. Now, obviously, we were not the only ones, as Christina has indicated, that had come to that assessment, meaning, as it was indicated, the European Commission itself identified the need, but the need was also addressed and identified by the NetMondial conference that took place about exactly a year ago, where they indicated that it would be recommendable to analyze the option of creating internet governance coordination tools to perform ongoing monitoring, analysis, and information sharing functions. Similar kind of call to action was made by the President Ilves report, where the report indicated that it would be advisable to create enabling tools to map issues to existing distributed governance groups and provide assistance in the implementation of existing distributed governance groups solutions. A similar kind of assessment, as already indicated, was made by ourselves in a report that we submitted to the Global Commission on Internet Governance, which we also presented 2 weeks ago at their meeting in The Hague, where we called for innovations around internet governance, and one of the critical elements towards innovation on how we go about solving internet governance issues, as we listed, was exactly the creation of a map that can identify what responses already exist, who is already working on certain kinds of responses and issues, and how to act upon the information once one has identified the current state of play. So based upon the assessment that we made, and based also upon the collective movement towards creating tools, especially coming out of the NetMondial initiative, we looked into developing a map that would exactly try to identify what already exists and also who is working on what. And as Luis identified with regard, and Christina identified with regard to the GIPO, we also adopted a set of design principles which are very similar to GIPO. And the first design principle that we always develop in all our projects here at the GovLab is a user-centered design principle. So what we did was trying to understand what are the real needs among potential users of such a map. And so we did an extensive analysis of needs in 2 ways. One, through a survey that was available on the NetMondial initiative website, and also through one-on-one potential user interviews. And a critical principle behind all of the GovLab projects is also transparency. So we shared the results on our blog and solicited ongoing input as well. A second important design principle that we applied was to make sure, and that's specifically of importance in this context on this webinar, is to ensure that whatever is being developed under the rubric of the NetMondial Solutions Map, that the outcome would be complementary and focused on added value as opposed to be duplicative of existing and potential future initiatives. And so towards that end, we developed a map of existing efforts that try to overcome the information deficits in the internet governance space. And we shared again the map, reached out to all of the identified mappers or initiatives, and shared that also on our website. And we also developed this network of mappers that we hope would provide for this platform of exchange of existing solutions, and also provide for a trusted network that can suggest solutions to hard problems in actually overcoming the information deficit. Another principle that we applied was the principle of being iterative and agile. And so we didn't wait till we came up with all the solutions and the possible ways of addressing them, but we quickly went into prototyping mode and provided access to the prototype either in a exactly also limited way or in an open way, and collected input on, does this really address the needs? does this really overcome the information deficit in a way that would add value? And again, we shared the findings on our website and are currently also in an ongoing mode of consultation and solicitation for input on the prototype that is currently available. I would specifically want to thank some of the people that were engaged with us and that took time to share their findings and also share their interests. And so here are some of them are listed here to showcase that really this is has to be a bottom-up and also a global initiative. And I realize that also some of those who are listed here are probably listening to this website or to this webinar as well. And so thank you again. What we would like to do is to go and actually showcase what the current prototype is, with the emphasis that it is still a beta, i.e. prototype solution. And I'm going to give the floor to Sam, who is going to walk briefly through the current prototype from the perspective of a user and a use case, which is also one of the elements that we applied in developing it. Is we developed several use cases to then ultimately look whether the use cases are addressed in one way or another through the map that we have developed. And so Sam is briefly gonna some of the questions that some already have posed, ways that the NetMondial Solutions Map and GIPO can and will probably collaborate in the near future.
Samantha, before you intervene, can I just ask you to be brief so that we leave the floor to people question and answer? Thanks.
No problem.
Samantha, we have a problem with your audio. I think you have not connected the audio. Can you check? I can hear Stefan, but I cannot hear your mic on. Okay, now.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Perfectly.
Great. Sorry about that. So I'm going to go through a quick use case from the perspective of a woman named Deborah Messer. She is a policymaker in Belgium, and there's been a recent child pornography scandal. So she's been tasked with developing a memo about existing responses to child pornography. So she's heard about the NetMondial Solutions Map, and she comes to the website, and she sees that there's an option to do a keyword search. She can explore the issues by top-level categories, and she can also see a visualization or see recently added nodes. So she decides to explore the issues and see if child pornography is on here. It probably fits into content issues, so she clicks through and she sees a tile view of all of the issues that have been associated with our online child pornography. So she scrolls through and sees that it is an issue on here. She clicks through, and here she gets a description of the issue. She can see all of the solutions that have been tagged to online child pornography. She can see related actors, and she can also see related resources. What she wants to do is get a top-level view of all the connections that are associated with online child pornography. So she can see here connections between issues, solutions, and actors that are visualized on this map. So she takes a moment to explore these issues, and she sees that there's some that are particularly connected. So here Interpol has a lot of nodes connected to solutions and actors. She goes through and she wants to read a little bit more about Interpol, so she clicks read more. And here she has the option to connect with them directly on their website, connect on Twitter, but most importantly, see all of the solutions associated with Interpol. So she sees that there is a lot of laws and policies. She wants to take a view of this for her memo so she can download this and use this in her report. The last thing she wants to do is identify an expert who's working in this area. So
Samantha, Samantha, we have an issue with time because we want to leave the floor for a question and answer. So I think the example was good enough. If you could just wrap up.
Sure.
So this is just a exploration of the solutions map. So why don't we go back to the presentations? Now, everyone is free to go and explore themselves, and it's currently available on the URL that is listed here on map.netmundial.org. The next iteration of the map is to make it open for content contributions, because the key design principle is that this will be a crowdsourced effort that will provide for content according to the structure that we have set out. And we also will make it more personalized and potentially more curated according to a certain additional set of features that we will provide. We are excited to be part of this webinar, mainly because, as I said, we really want to be complementary and focused on added value. And there are a variety of ways we already have identified on how we can collaborate. One is on developing a joint vocabulary on how you describe internet governance issues or internet governance topics. We also look into and will look into opportunities for content sharing. Clearly, the way we go about solving the information deficit is different and complementary. I mean, GIPO has adopted more of a automated data mining semantic analysis solution, which we haven't followed as a solution. We have adopted more of the crowdsourcing way, and it seems like having both maps could provide for a real complementary solution to the existing challenges. And we also want to coordinate on how the content is being presented and categorized. Louis already mentioned of third-party kind of applications in the map, and we also are eager to solicit third-party applications, and we could also look into how we can collaborate there. With that, I apologize for going over time, and looking forward to your questions.
Many thanks, Stefan and Samantha. So let's go straight to the question. I think I will sum up some of them. The first is obviously the relation between NetMundial and GIPO, and I think I would give the floor firstly to Christina to answer quickly this question.
Okay, thank you for this question. I think that it was partly answered already by Stefan. From my point of view, I think that, GIPO and the NetMundial initiative are just two examples. There are other observatories, like for instance the Geneva Internet Platform and others that are in the process of being developed. Some of these observatories are in different stages. We, for instance, for GIPO, we are just at the beginning. I think that one thing that makes GIPO different from other observatories or similar tools is the strong accent on automation, and I think this will be the real added value of this specific tool. And again, I mean, the fact that there are many initiatives, and I expect that more will be in the pipeline, we have to find ways to find synergies and to work together. For me, for instance, the idea of sharing or using, for instance, data which is collected through GIPO and using this data for other observatories could be one of the most obvious solutions, but also the other way around. Data which is produced by other observatories would fit into this into the GIPO platform. So I hope I answered this question. Yes.
Yes. I mean, to be honest, honest, we only have a few minutes, so we will give short answers, but we will follow this up on the blog of the GIPO.net website, so that we report on the question asked and on specific answers that need a little bit more time. I would like to mention just one additional question, which I think is very important, by Daniel. I would like to know if there will be any owners of certain debates processes, which means a person who initially registered a certain debate process in the tool. Who will be authorized to register a certain debate process in the tool? Anyone or only stakeholders involved in the debate? And what happens if different people want to register the same debate and process? I think maybe Christina and Luis can quickly, well, quickly I don't know, but can try to address this issue.
Yes. Well, just very briefly, my first reaction to this question is that the GIPO tool is designed to be as open as possible. So we don't expect to have some sort of blockages or filters. So anybody, I mean, the information that is open and available on the internet will be used for that. So, but maybe Luis, you can go more into the details to provide a more comprehensive answer from the technical point of view.
Yes, well, it's more or less the same. We will use an open approach. We are committed with that. So transparency, even in the deepest part of the tool, I mean in the algorithms that get the information, we will show them and we will give the ability to comment on them, and every debate that can go on about some item, every individual item we collect, maybe a policy document, maybe a news item, will have its own part to give these commentaries and to deal with the debate. But we will only try to moderate obvious things like proper language and things like that. But we will expose and share. Any user can view this item, and any user can participate. There's no owner of it. The owner is the whole platform.
So thanks a lot, Luis. Just let me read, and we will not answer, but we will answer in a follow-up on the website, the last questions. Irina Zalizova saying, Stefan, the beta version of your map is very promising. Could you say some more words about distributed internet governance mentioned in the last paper? Then appreciation for the joint vocabulary ontologies idea. And Daniel Opperman saying, the information will not be visually separated in topic, but it's like a database where user can upload information and find information on certain keywords. Tilman Kupfer, any chance that the two tools may help to reduce the number of internet government organizations involved? This would indeed help to allocate better scarce policy resources. Now, because of time limitation, we will not address all of the issues, but slides will be available from the website as well as the recording of this webinar. There will be a blog post regarding this where the questions will be addressed, and so we will do this if you want in an asynchronous way. And this is just to remember, all of you, this is the first of a series of webinar and live events. So for now, I would like to give back the floor to the Commission for closing the webinar, and on my side, thank all of you for the participation. Christina and Maciej, the word is yours.
Yes, indeed. I'm here with my colleague Maciej. Maybe he can just quickly do the wrap up.
Good afternoon, everyone, or good morning or good evening, according to your time zone. Thank you very much for participating in this webinar. We had a quite limited time, but we went through many different issues. As you can see, the project is pretty huge, and that's why it would be important from the beginning to involve the entire community. The purpose of this meeting was, of this webinar, was precisely to show what we believe that technical decisions might have a very strong policy implications. This is the position that we presented in the Communication on Internet Policy and Governance in February 2014, and that's why we would like to show you from the beginning, in a transparent manner, different technical nitty-gritties of the construction of the observatory, so you can comment from the beginning and then say if you see that this is done in a proper way, if this is really transparent, if the platform is really done in a way that respects objectivity and it does not serve to any political interest. That was our aim from the beginning, and we are strongly committed to maintain this commitment. In parallel, we'll be, as already mentioned, working with different other initiatives. As you've already seen from presentation from Stefan, basically we have, let's say, common birthplace. All our initiatives come from concrete recommendations related to IGIPO, Net Mundial. However, those different ideas, those different commitments, we would like to achieve in a little bit different ways. For us, it's more automated way. For Net Mundial initiative platform, it's a focused initiative on presenting solutions. But we hope that by those different initiatives, we'll be actually able to address different needs of the community. And we strongly invite you to use those tools as much as possible and to see how they match your needs, if they are needed, what can be improved. So we're really waiting for your feedback. In terms of the next steps, David already mentioned several upcoming steps, namely we will share the outcome of this webinar, slides, etc. But additionally, I would like to draw your attention to the fact that for GIPO has recently launched a website for ensuring an engagement of different stakeholders in the project. So I very much invite you to visit from time to time this website, have a look, comment. We really hope that this will ensure a contact between the contractor and you. The contractor also launched a Twitter account that some of you have already seen, so we also invite you to follow. And more generally, there's going to be a series of webinars every 2 months, so we will inform you well in advance about the next dates. And finally, once per half a year, we're going to have a physical meeting, so you can actually see the people behind those computers. And the upcoming physical meeting will take place on the 4th of June in Sofia during EuroDIC. So we invite you already to reserve time for this meeting. So Christina will be there, probably accompanied by Megan Richards, who is principal advisor working for Internet Governance Task Force at the Commission. So we hope that this presentation was useful. If you have any other questions, well, we have time limitation, but if you have any other questions, I think there are quite many different ways to reach us, and we really invite you to be with us during this project and to give active input.